Well, hello and welcome to this online sales and marketing masterclass on selling by chat. Now, to kick things off, I have a very simple question for you. Are you ready? Who wants to play a game? This is my simple binary question to get you actively participating. Who wants to play a game? Just use the chat tool and type yes or no. And while you're at it, why don't you also tell me where you're from? So if you're from Sydney, Australia, right? Yes, from Sydney, Australia. If you are from Los Angeles, right? Yes, from Los Angeles. If you're joining us from London, say yes, from London. If you're from Ho Chi Minh City or Singapore or Hong Kong, let us know. That's terrific. If you're joining us from a small country town, let us know what small country town that is. Who wants to play a game? Yes or no? Now, I've specifically asked this question in the way that I have asked this question, who wants to play a game? Because games are amazing. Games are an opportunity to test out ideas and also observe and monitor the way that we respond to situations. So a game is fantastic because you can see how you might react in a certain situation. You get a better understanding of what you do in the real world when presented with a real scenario, but without the consequences. So this simple question, who wants to play a game, tells me that the people who say yes are the types of people who are proactive, that raise their hand in the real world. I love you guys and gals who are proactive. We love to reward the proactive, and I will be continually rewarding the proactive today. Plus, the more you participate, the more you'll retain the information that I'm sharing today. And if you can retain the information, you're also more likely to apply the information. And when you apply the information, you're more likely to get an outcome. So who wants to play a game? I hope that you are all typing yes and letting me know where you are joining us from today. That is terrific. So this game is called Why the Flip Are You Here? I've got small children, so I have learnt not to use some of, I've learnt to give the sailor talk, the old heave ho, as Ned Flanders once said. Yep, this old sea dog has learned to get rid of the salty language. So this is why the slide says, why the flip are you here? And to help us out, I have a diagram on the screen right now. This is about bringing us back to the purpose of why we are here today. And indeed, I have a question for you, which is, what is your ultimate online transaction? What is your UOT, your ultimate online transaction? There is a little bit of an acronym, UOT. It stands for ultimate online transaction. Your ultimate online transaction is the last step on a client or prospect's journey with you. It's the last step on their journey with you online. Ultimate, it's the final step. Online, it's online. Transaction means that it can be measured. And I've worked with hundreds, maybe even thousands of B2B business owners directly, and I've served and helped a lot more using webinars and videos, blog posts, and all sorts of wonderful stuff, podcast episodes. And over that time, I've come to the conclusion that there are only a handful of ultimate online transactions. Ultimate meaning the final, online meaning digital, online, transaction meaning something that can be measured, ultimate online transaction. And depending on your industry, you will probably favor one. So when I talk about an ultimate online transaction, the final step in the journey, what do you think is the most common ultimate online transaction? What is the most common final stage in a customer or client's online journey in the online world? What do you think is the most common final stage? Most people might say it might be that moment when somebody pulls out their credit card and goes tappity, 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 tap and buys something online. Yes, that is sometimes called an e-commerce sale. Now, when I say what is the most common ultimate online transaction, most people will usually say e-commerce sale because I'm talking about stuff happening online. It's your ultimate online transaction. It's the final stage in the journey online. But the reality is that most commercial transactions don't conclude online. Now, do they? No, a small amount do at this point in the evolution of technology, but the majority don't. So for example, what if you are running a restaurant? What if you have a cafe? What if you have a clothing store, or maybe you sell knickknacks where people like to come in and touch it and feel it? Maybe it's bedding, it's a haberdashery. People want to see the thread count. Maybe it's something where you don't naturally want to be able to sell it online yet. Bricks and mortar retail or bricks and mortar hospitality. In that particular instance, the ultimate online transaction is often a voucher. So this is something that happens online. Instead of somebody pulling out their credit card and going tappity, tappity, tap, they go, wow, there's a 15% discount or a 2-for-1 coffee voucher. I'm going to put in my details, tappity, 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 tap, and I'm going to get my voucher and I'm going to take it in and I'm going to redeem it within the store. It is the ultimate online transaction because it is the final step on the journey online, and it's a transaction that can be measured. Okay, an e-commerce sale, it's a transaction, very measurable. A voucher, I download it, very measurable. You, in your world, what is your ultimate online transaction? What is the final stage in your world before you perhaps take the conversation offline and close the deal offline? What is the final step in your world? Tap something out. How do you close a deal? In our world, we use an expression called, are you ready? The inbound or the incoming, inbound VIP. And VIP does not stand for very important person. VIP stands for very interested prospect. So there's an e-commerce sale, there's a voucher, or in a lot of situations, perhaps if you're in the B2B space where you sell a complex product or service or a big ticket item where the sale requires a conversation, the inbound VIP, very interested prospect, is when somebody comes into your world and they want to reach out and they want to engage with you. However, most inbound VIPs do not involve a stage that we can measure. So they don't have the transaction component. So you might get an email or you might get a phone call or they might respond to one of your emails and there's no transaction component. So in our world, the transaction component is, are you ready? A booking, an online booking where they book time with you. Why the flip are you here? I am hoping that you are here because you want more inbound or incoming VIPs, very interested prospects. And if you want to make that happen in a way that runs consistently, preferably on autopilot, you're going to need some type of way to transact. And that means a booking that you can record and you can measure. So here's my question for you right now. If you would like inbound or incoming VIPs into your business, all I want you to do is tap out the 3 letters VIP. That's all I really want for you. If you want more e-commerce sales, write e-commerce sales. If you want vouchers, write vouchers. But if you would like more people to book time with you in a way that can be measured, and if you would like to do it in a way where you are attracting very interested prospects, tap out VIP, and I am watching a sea of VIPs in front of me, and I can use that in a multitude of different ways because you are all very important people. What you can see on the screen right now is a client attraction sequence. This is the formula for our training program, the recipe. The recipe is the sequence of steps that we use and we encourage our customers and clients to use if they want to get their future customers and clients to the end of the sequence. Now, I'm going to be returning to this slide in a little bit, but it might be worthwhile taking a photo of this slide. If you're the type of person that likes to take photos so that you will remember things, this is a very important slide and we'll be coming back to this slide. So I'm going to give you a second if you would like to take a photo of this slide. And what I want you to observe that at the top of this particular client attraction sequence, we have intelligent outbound, which is the opposite of dumb outbound. And we also have inbound. There's a bunch of different steps and stages within this particular construct. And at the end, we have our ultimate online transaction. And I asked the question, why the flip are you here? And I want you to observe and acknowledge that the reason why you are here is most likely because you want an inbound VIP. Okay. So as I said, I like games. I like games because they give us an idea of how we behave in the real world. They create a lot of self-awareness, but we can also take action without consequences. But the other reason why I like games and the other reason why I like participation is that you are more likely to retain the knowledge. The third reason is because I want to give you focus. Now, there's a whole bunch of people on this call right now, and you're probably here for a whole bunch of reasons. You are attracted to this particular call for a whole bunch of different reasons, but I want to give you focus. And the focus that I want to give you is the end result. Start with the end in mind. Let's start with the ultimate online transaction that's most applicable to you, and that is the inbound VIP. Rock and roll. Now, when you participate, not only do you get to become a little bit more self-aware, not only are you more likely to retain the knowledge, not only am I better able to give you focus, but I also have a participation bonus right here, right now, which means that if you are willing and able to participate, which simply means use the chat tool, I will give you this free report. This is called 24 lead generation tactics specifically for B2B. And I run through 24 things that are very easy for you to do. So for example, you can see one way to get leads is to add an offer to your email signature. That's an absolute no-brainer. Anyone on this call can do this tomorrow. But wouldn't it be wonderful to have a list of things that you could check off on? Yep, I've done that. Yep, I've done that. Yep, I've done that. And you can work through 24 lead generation tactics specifically for B2B so that they all add up together. And once again, you get more inbound VIPs, more bookings. All you need to do to get this particular item, this participation bonus, is participate. So type out the word VIP if that's an easy way to participate, or you could tap out 24, or you could just tap out me, please, or yes, I'm in. I'd love it. Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Michelle. Rock and roll. You all qualify for the participation bonus, and we'll send that to you sometime in the next 24 hours. So here is our action-packed agenda for today. Part one, we're going to be talking about how to open conversations. We're going to focus on 3 audiences and 3 strategies. I don't want to overcomplicate these things. 3 audiences, 3 strategies, 1 strategy for each of those audiences. And for most people, that should be enough. Part 2, how to engage with your audiences. Yes, we want to build the need that people have for you. We want to pre-qualify, make sure that we're not wasting our time having conversations with people that we do not want to work with. And I've also got a little bit of a game called the momentum game. There's that word again, game. And we have this game to help ourselves, our crew, our staff, our customers, and clients conquer the fear when it comes to engaging with your audiences online. Part 3, how to close without closing. Yes, there are a whole bunch of different ways to close. Gather leads, fill your CRM, define your Goldilocks zone, and of course, book meetings. Finally, we have a Q&A where I'll be running through some of the tools that we use. And if we have enough time, I'll be sharing a couple social prospecting strategies. Awesome sauce. Now, if you've got your hands on the worksheet, that's terrific. We sent emails and SMSs with links to the workbook in advance. If you've got hold of that and you've printed it out, absolutely fantastic. If you don't freak out. All I want you to do is make sure that you've got a pen and paper handy and perhaps draw this on the screen right now. This is a masterclass. This is a workshop. I want you guys and gals taking action. So as one small way to take action, in addition to typing words like VIP and 24 and yes, and participating, thank you, Doug. I also highly recommend that you take notes. I highly recommend that you have pen and paper handy. I don't know about you, but when I tap notes into my phone or into an iPad, they don't seem to stick in my brain the same way that they do when I write stuff down on a notepad or a piece of paper. So I highly encourage you to do that. If you've got a pen and paper handy right now, all I want you to do is put it down on your table, landscape style instead of portrait, and draw 3 circles like you can see on the screen right now. Too easy. Plus, not only do we have a participation bonus, but we also have a sticky bonus. What's a sticky bonus? A sticky bonus is simply a bonus for sticking around. If you can make it all the way to the Q&A at the 90-minute mark, you'll also get this sticky bonus. This is our recipe roadmap where we break down the formula that I had on the screen a little bit earlier in a little bit more detail. Plus, we're going to be sharing our B2B growth engine formula, which is what you can see on the right. The B2B growth engine formula tackles the three most important levers if you want to get big outcomes from your B2B business, which of course are sales, marketing, and scale. So that there is a sticky bonus simply for sticking around. This is awesome. Now, I've got a pretty good idea about who you guys and gals are, what you're about, what you want from me. You've been very kind and answered a whole bunch of questions, and you've been participating. Plus, the majority of you will have filled out pre-training questionnaires when you signed up. So I had the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better as well too. But I know a little bit about you, but I think it's also important that you know a little bit about me, because I could be a 20-something-year-old digital marketer with bold ambitions, but very little experience. Now you can see my face. I'm not a 20-something. I'm a 40-something, right? But I could be. That's not me. I mean, I've spent almost 20 years supporting business owners online and in the real world. I could be one of those, I don't know, those flaky sales trainers, you know, the ones that are too cool for school, that are always telling you to always be closing, lock them in, whatever it is that they say. That's not me either. No, I'm a genuine business owner that's been running businesses for almost 20 years. My first business was launched in my home country, Australia, where I launched a national business magazine in my mid to late 20s. And that business magazine went on to rival the market leaders. I want to tell you a story from way back then, which helps me articulate the missing piece that makes the rest all come together. So I want you to cast your minds back all the way back to, let's say, a decade ago, more than a decade ago. Let's say the year 2008, just before the GFC. Can you remember that far back? Can you take your mind back that far? This is a story or a game called Cars, Cornflakes, and Davy's Colson Cave. So as I said, my first big business venture was a print magazine made of paper and ink. Now, I don't know how much you know about magazines, but the lion's share of the revenue comes from advertising packages. Now, advertising packages are one of those things that are very, very difficult to sell. I don't know what you're selling. I'm sure it's difficult. One thing I do know is that advertising packages are at the highest level when it comes to selling pretty much anything. And over the time of building that magazine, I also built a sales crew. And my sales team would go out and we would try to sell advertising packages. Retail sales are fantastic, but they added about that much of revenue. Subscription sales are fantastic as well too, but you're usually losing money because you want the subscribers to sell the advertising packages. So advertising is really, really important when you sell a print magazine. Now, we had lots of conversations about the types of people that we should be targeting. And I had a saleswoman at one point called Linda. And Linda one day decided to target cornflake manufacturers, okay, for my magazine. I had another salesperson called Justin. He decided to target car makers. And I had another salesperson working for me briefly called Michelle. And she decided to target intellectual property lawyers. All right, okay, where am I going with this? That's 3 different audiences for a magazine. All right, you don't know what this magazine was about. I do. This magazine was a magazine that was put together for entrepreneurs, startup owners, early stage business owners, and it was called Anthill Magazine. From little things, big things grow. So I had 3 salespeople that went out selling 3 different things. Justin pushed into the car industry because we wanted those big glossy ads with those double page spreads with cars at the front of the magazine. That's what we wanted. So that's what Justin did. Linda got it in her head that she thought it would be a good idea to target cornflake manufacturers. So she went out in that particular audience, and Michelle decided to target intellectual property attorneys. Who do you think had the most success selling advertising into a print magazine? Well, I'll tell you what, if I look at the three metrics that you can see on the screen right now, cars and cornflakes were not successful. We did get car advertising. It was very difficult. And of course, we did not get cornflake advertisers at all. However, we did get a whole bunch of intellectual property advertisers. Indeed, intellectual property advertisers like Davies Colson Cave became a mainstay of our client base over the evolution of the magazine. And that is because I can look at these things here and I can say cornflakes. Okay, cornflakes. Are the readers of my magazine likely to be interested in cornflakes? Maybe as a breakfast cereal. If the cornflake advertiser advertises in my magazine, are they likely to have clear impact? Probably not. So what I'm going to say is cars. Sure, there may have been a need among our readers for cars. Do the car ads get clear impact? At that point, the car manufacturers believed that they were getting clear impact. Were the car manufacturers getting measurable ROI? No. Cornflakes manufacturers. Okay, the readers of magazines do like to eat breakfast. Is it a strong need? Probably not, but I'm still going to give it a tick because there are a need there. Was there clear impact? Absolutely not. Was there measurable ROI? No way, Jose. All right, intellectual property attorneys. Now, I want to remind you that this is a magazine for entrepreneurs, for small business owners, for people starting out that are usually launching or creating or developing something new. And one of the greatest fears that an entrepreneur has, particularly one that's creating something that's revolutionary, they want to create the next great mousetrap, is that one thing that they're always fearful of is that somebody's going to steal their fantastic idea or their brand or the name that they've worked so hard to come up with. So when it comes to intellectual property attorneys, is there a strong need? Yes. Is there a clear impact? Okay. So if I'm a business owner and I'm growing a business and I get someone to help me with my IP, is there a clear impact? Absolutely. We've got a double tick here. What about measurable ROI? Well, once again, if I'm spending, if I'm spending $3,000 on a quarter page ad, or let's say I'm spending $12,000 on a full page ad, as was the case at the time, how many clients do I need to sign to get my ROI? Probably only one on a quarter page ad, or maybe three on a full page ad. Measurable ROI. Do you get your measurable ROI selling cornflakes? Probably not. So cars, cornflakes, Davies Colson Cave. In this particular instance, we discovered pretty quickly that one target audience among these three was the most attractive. Strong need, clear impact, measurable ROI. Why am I bringing this up? Because far too many people in the B2B space will service anyone with a checkbook and a pulse. I say, who is your target audience? You say anyone who needs my services. I got some bonus points here. If you are deciding to get a little bit more narrow and a little bit more granular with your target audience, it helps if you can target players with money, people who can actually afford you, and people who can act quickly. Those are 5 of the factors that we look at when we help our customers and clients choose their target audiences. So as I said, this is the missing piece that pulls all the other pieces together. What's the moral of the story? As we get deep and as we get granular and as we talk about selling by chat, most likely you're here because you want tactics and strategies, which is great, fantastic. But however, the who is always more important than the what. The who is almost always more important than the what. If you want to play a bigger game, it helps if you start by thinking smaller in the context of your target audiences. So rather than focusing on cornflakes manufacturers, car dealerships, who's going to have the greatest impact? Where is there a clear need? Who's going to get ROI? Who has the money? And who can make a decision quickly? Not only is it helpful if you want to play a bigger game to start thinking smaller in the context of your target audiences, but specialists, aside from things getting a little bit easier in terms of making the sale, because there is impact, there is clear ROI, all those good things, measurable ROI, is that specialists almost always charge more. All right, specialists almost always charge more. This is Sarah here. So Sarah was a generalist marketer. So she was a marketing consultant. She had all sorts of different clients. She was running her business in a rural part of the world. And because she was living in a relatively remote part of the world, she suffered from a mild scarcity mindset, which was there are not so many businesses around here. So I have to sign up pretty much anyone and everyone from my local community if I'm going to get by. So on her book, she had the local bar, the local realtor, the local drugstore, the local grocery store, right? She had them all from her local region. And she was charging, I believe, about $500 per month per client as a retainer. And she had somewhere between about 15 to 20 clients. So say it was 20 clients, $500 times 20 works out to be $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year. She's making six figures. Not too bad, not too shabby. The problem with Sarah is that she was being dragged left, right, and center all the time. Now, Sarah came into our world. And one of the first things that we did with Sarah is we sat down and we had a strategy call. And we do this for all the new people that come into our world. And the strategy call will often begin with a conversation about target audience. Now, we had this conversation with Sarah and she was targeting anyone and everyone with a pulse. We looked a little bit deeper and among her audiences, one audience popped out and these were wineries. Now, on her books, I believe at the time she had 2 wineries. Now, a winery was interesting because a winery, she could deliver them clear impact. There was a clear need. They needed more people at the cellar door. They needed help selling wine online. But also in terms of ROI, the metrics stacked up in a very clear, measurable way. The local pharmacist might not have been able to see the value in Sarah's work, but the winery definitely could because the ROI was there. So we had a conversation and Sarah decided to focus. And she focused her efforts to become a wine marketing specialist. Sarah Johnson, wine marketing specialist. Yes, the who is more important than the what. What does Sarah do? She helps wineries sell more wine online. Not only did that make Sarah's life a little bit easier because all her clients pretty much wanted the same thing, it also meant that she was more able to organically attract the right type of audience because she was naming the audience. And when we hear our name, we sit up, right? If I say your name, you will sit up. Hi, Bo. Bo just sat up. Hi, Louise. Louise just sat up. Hi, Jeremy, Yvonne, Kelvin, Shoba, Wayne, Doug. You just sat up. You paid attention. She was able to name her audience. But even that, better than that, Sarah was able to boost her rates. All right, I just told you a moment ago, she was charging $500 per month per client times 20. All right. She decided to market to wineries instead. How much did she ultimately end up charging her retainer clients in the winery space per month? Have a guess. Was it $500? Was it $600? Was it $700? Was it $800? Thank you, Kelly, who was the first to answer, and she said $2,000. It was indeed $2,400. $2,400, 5 clients. What's that number? See if you can figure it out. Suddenly, not only was she attracting clients, she was working with a smaller number of clients who valued her services, were getting ROI. She was having a better time of it as well too. And she was able to increase her rates by around 500%. Specialists charge more. Am I busting through? Am I making your brain go? I've got this question for you. And you might be wondering what this question has, what its relevance is in the context of the topic today. But you might have observed so far that there is a method behind my madness. I've got a question for you, which I believe is likely to be somewhat of a brain buster. And it's a bit of a self-assessment. It's a strange one. Do you normalize success or do you normalize failure? Do you normalize success or do you normalize failure? What do I mean by this word normalize? It means that we set for ourselves a status quo. We decide that that's who we are. That's what we're about. We look at what's going on around us and that becomes our normal. Now, unfortunately, when having conversations with a lot of the people that we work with, it's not uncommon to have conversations and discover that the people that we are speaking with are normalizing failure. They are normalizing habits and mindsets that don't help them succeed. And this is crazy because we all have our own normal. We all have our own reality box. We all have an idea of what is our own status quo. And the more normal something feels, the more uncomfortable the next level up or even down is likely to be. So for example, if someone grows up in a wealthy household, when someone grows up in a wealthy household, why is it that that person seems more likely to be wealthy as an adult? Now you could say because their parents had a trust fund, passed down the wealth. But even in scenarios where people grew up with wealth and their parents lost the wealth, they end up growing up to be wealthy adults. Why is that? Why do people who grow up in wealthy households more often than not grow up to be wealthy adults? And of course, this goes both ways. Because the more normal something feels, the more uncomfortable the next level up or down is likely to feel. So if somebody grows up in a wealthy household and they grow up and they do not feel wealthy, that will feel extremely uncomfortable. Their status quo has been disrupted and they will fight to get out of that particular situation because their normal has been disrupted and they are left feeling uncomfortable. As you can imagine, this goes both ways. It really does. And as business owners, I see this again and again. People are normalizing mindsets and habits that are not setting them up for success. One of the examples that I see again and again and again is the resistance of business owners to embrace simple principles like identifying a clear target audience that has a clear need, that where there's going to be a strong impact, a strong need, clear impact, and a measurable ROI. And why do they not do that? They don't focus on a specific target audience because they've been doing it, targeting anyone and everyone with a pulse for way too long, and they've been watching everybody else in their industry do the same thing. So here's what I said before. I said, if you want to think bigger, it sometimes helps to think a little bit smaller when it comes to your target audience. Here's what I want you to do. I just want to tell me, if you want to normalize success, here's what I want you to do. I just want you to type think big. You can even go even further. You can type, I'm gonna think big. You can say, thinking big is the new normal. How's that? That's what I want you to do. I want you to type think big. Because the more normal something feels, the more uncomfortable the next level up or down is likely to feel. And I want you to lift your game. I want you to level up. And I want you to start viewing the world in a way where success is normal for you. Chris says, think big. Lisa says, I must learn to think big. Lisa says, thinking big is the new normal. The other Lisa, thinking big. Absolutely wonderful. I really love that, guys and gals. Thank you for participating. All right, let's talk about opening conversations. By the way, Sarah's normal was that she was operating in a small town with a small number of clients, and she could only charge a small number of money to keep them satisfied. We had a conversation. We introduced a new set of principles to her world. She began to think a little bit bigger. And as I said, she organically began to attract prospects that were a better fit for her, were more likely to pay her a larger amount, and brought more joy to her world. If you would like some help identifying a target audience that is the best fit for you in your world, all I want you to do right now is type the word yes-target audience. If you'd like some help, write yes-target audience, and perhaps we just might be able to help you with that. Me or my business partner, John Iglesias, or one of our crew. All right. So a little bit earlier, I said, I hope that you have a pen and paper handy. And indeed, I hope that you have a pen and paper handy right now. We've got 3 stages: open, engage, and then we're going to close the loop. Now, we were talking about target audiences, and I said that target audiences is the missing piece that pulls all this together. Okay. That's what I said. So I'm going to start with 3 fairly simple target audiences. Are you ready? If you're writing stuff down on a piece of paper, this is your opportunity to pull out your pen and get involved, get active. The first target audience that we're going to focus on is clients. Yeah. A lot of you guys and gals, if you've been around the block a few times, you already have existing clients. This is an audience. Here's an interesting statistic. It is 16 times easier to sell something to an existing client than it is to sell something to a stranger. But however, a lot of business operators spend a lot of time focusing always on the new, always on the fresh leads, always on the new blood. But you have a target audience. It's called clients. Cool. Rock and roll. That is one target audience. The second target audience, I'm going to put the word dormant. And the reason why I'm spelling the word dormant is because you also have people on your database that once upon a time showed interest, right? You do, right? These are people who were once hot prospects, or maybe they were lukewarm prospects. They came into your world because they were interested in some way. Maybe they signed up for your email newsletter. They are dormant. That is another target audience that a lot of business operators don't spend enough time thinking about. All right, clients, dormant leads. What's my third one? Dormant prospects. All right, the third one is new blood. All right, new blood. There are 3 today. 1, clients. 2, dormant. 3, new blood. 3 target audiences. I said 3 target audiences, and I'm going to be running through 3 no-brainer strategies for each of those audiences that anyone can do starting today. Quickly, tell me, if you're going to focus on one target audience, which would it be? Clients, the people who are on your database that haven't signed up, or new blood? Clients, dormant, new. C, D, or N? Let's get into it. Clients. If we're going to reach out to clients, one of my favorite ways to reach out to existing clients is direct message via SMS. So Shoba has said clients. Doug has said clients. Cameron said clients. One of my favorite strategies is SMS. Do you have a phone? Yes, you do. Do you have a list of existing clients? Yes, you do. Do you want more conversations so that you can introduce your existing clients to new ways that you can help them take their business to the next level? Of course you do. So one of our favorite strategies is DM via SMS. And I got to say, this is not rocket science. It's just a thing you don't do, probably in a consistent way. This is something where you can set aside one Tuesday morning, once a month, maybe even once a week, set aside 2 hours and ping out a bunch of SMSs. You don't need a fancy tool. You just need the phone and your CRM system, whatever tool that you use to monitor your existing clients. And here's an example of a little bit of outreach from me to an existing client. Yoo-hoo, what's up? Upside down, smiley face. Now, that is a message that with my personal brand, I am perfectly comfortable sending. Yoo-hoo, what's up? Okay. But one thing that you can't see on the screen here is that often when I send a message like that, I will give my clients a chance to reply. All right. So here's a little bit of a strategy, a little bit of a hot tip. I can send out a door opener. Yoo-hoo, what's up? And then I will wait 5 minutes. Sometimes I will wait even 25 minutes, 30 minutes, because I get distracted. I do other things. I've got other people to message, right? So I'm like, a message goes out to Sam, yoo-hoo, what's up? To Frederick, yoo-hoo, to Barbara, yoo-hoo, to Frida, yoo-hoo, whatever. That's what I do. Bang, 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 bang. Give them a chance to reply. And a bunch of people reply. They go, hey, how you doing? The door is open. The conversation has started. All right, if they don't reply, it's been ages since we last connected. How are things? All right. Then I can wait 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 25 minutes. Then I'll ask a more specific question that's specific to the service that we offer, the headaches and solutions, the headaches, obstacles, aspirations, and desires of our target audience. Did you get your pipeline sorted? And then I might wait another 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 25 minutes, and then follow it up with, let me know if we should set aside a time, pick apart what's working and what's not. Now, straight off the bat, you'll notice that there are a couple groovy elements about this. One is that if we stagger the messages, we give our clients an opportunity to reply. The other reason why it's effective is that if the messages are staggered, it doesn't look like SMS spam. That's terrific. But we also need to acknowledge that sometimes someone might be in a meeting or running a webinar and they're not available for 2 hours, which means that they get them all. And then it looks really cool. It looks like you're really interested in them and their needs. So often I might send a message, yoo-hoo, what's up? And straight off the bat, oh, thanks for reaching out. My ears have been burning. Your ears must have been burning. I've been meaning to reach out. You know, how are things? We've had a few ups and downs. You know how it is. Yeah, I'd really appreciate the chance to catch up. I think I just need some fresh eyes. That's how humans type. There are typos in the ways that humans write. Super simple, super easy. Who's going to do this today? Not so hard if we're talking about opening the conversation. What about prospects? Okay, for prospects, this is a strategy called the 9-word email. We love the 9-word email. This was pioneered by a Canadian in the real estate space. And this Canadian popped out an email one day. I don't think he'd properly finished writing his email. He just accidentally hit send and came up with a template, an email marketing template that exists in all our funnels. And it's one of our favorite. It's called the 9-word email, which can be sent to prospects. Subject. The subject is name, the name of the person it's being sent to. The example's a little bit weird here because I'm sending an email to myself. But the subject is the name of the person. So Daniel or Lisa or Colleen or Kelly or Chandresh or Paul, that is the subject of the email. The body copy does not say hi, name, doesn't say anything. It's got around 9 words in it. Do you still need help with outcome? I've got, do you still need help attracting B2B clients? How many letters is that? Word is that. Do you still need help attracting B2B clients? So my email has 8 words, but it's called the 9-word email. It could have 8 words, it could have 7 words, it could have 12 words. But the subject is name, body copy. The subject is the name. The body copy is, do you still need help with outcome? And how do you think people respond to that? How do you think that they respond? They usually respond with an immediate reply. And the immediate reply is helpful in a bunch of different ways. One, they might come back and they say, yeah, I do still need help with that. And that's terrific. You can progress the conversation forward. Sometimes they come back and they say, yeah, I do still need help, but not at this moment. Can you reach out to me again in 4 weeks? Or they might say, no, I don't need help because I've got this happening and this happening and this happening, right? It's a wonderful market research tool for understanding what's happening in the worlds of your customers and clients, but it's also a super powerful tool in the context of what we're talking about, which is opening conversations. Now, the first example I gave you was clients, send them a DM via SMS. This is prospects, the 9-word email. Could you send the 9-word email to existing clients? You betcha. Could you send a DM to hot prospects that have ticked a whole lot of buttons? Absolutely. And Johnny, my business partner, has said we find the subject actually gets a massive open rate. Yeah, the subject gets a really big open rate. And why are people so willing and able to respond to this particular email? I think that they just feel a little bit rude if they don't respond. Anyway, you can Google this thing. There are tribes built around the effectiveness of the 9-word email. It's super powerful. You heard it here. You heard it first with me here right now, but go look for it. Instant attention. New blood. All right, new blood. Now, when I said, who do you want to target? I saw a bunch of different people did indeed say new. Thank you for participating. Chandresh and Kelly and Colleen and a bunch of others and David and a bunch of people that have used the chat tool in a way where I can't see exactly what you've said. New blood. Now, this at this point in time is, I think this is my favorite. If it's not my favorite, it's one of my favorite to opening conversations with new people. This is called a social media yes post. And the moment that I talk about this, you're going to see these things everywhere. The moment that I talk about it is suddenly going to go, wow, yeah, I'm absolutely seeing these things everywhere, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can see one on the left here. Who do I know who has a consulting business? I'm naming a target audience and wants 24 ways to get more consulting leads. Yes, I said 24. All right, that's a yes post. All I am doing is I'm asking the audience to say yes. I'm calling out the audience and I'm inviting them to say yes. So not only is this a cool tool for engaging with audiences, but the question itself pre-qualifies. So I posted this in our B2B Talk sales and marketing group, and B2B Talk at the time of filming has around 1,200 members. This post reached 600 members, half the members of the group. How is that possible? Have you posted anything in other people's Facebook groups recently? Have you posted anything in your own Facebook group? And you've noticed that the reach is getting lower and lower and lower and lower? This reached half the members of the group. Why is that so? Well, the reason why it reached so many people is because it got so many comments. The more people that comment, the more likely it is that a tool like Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram that uses algorithms to work out whether something is noteworthy, newsworthy, worthy of being shown to different audiences, it sees all these comments. So it starts to show different people. If two people are, typing yes, and there's a third person that they have as a connection in common that's also a member of the group, Facebook or LinkedIn or Insta will show it to that particular person. So this post was shown to half the members of the group. Wild. This post also generated 46 requests for the report in under 72 hours. So that is 46 conversations opened with a consulting business owner. Who do I know who has a consulting business and wants 24 ways to get more consulting leads? I know who the target audience is. It's a consulting business owner, and I know what they want right now. They want more leads. What a great way to open and start the conversation. Now, every now and then I'm going to say, take a photo of the screen. This is one of those moments. If you want to take a photo of the screen, do so right now. Pull out your smartphone and take a photo of the screen. And that is because the image on the left is indeed a template. Who do I know who has this type of business and wants something that you have to offer? It's a super simple formula. It's a super simple template. We love formulas. We love templates because they make our lives so much easier. Chris has had a go. Who do I know who has, who needs to lead team members with based offsite and onsite staff? All right, Chris is having a go. He's working on it. He's working through it. Absolutely terrific. Be like Chris. Use the chat tool. Be like Chris, use the chat tool. Which of these audiences or strategies do you intend to focus on in the next 24 hours? I asked you a little bit earlier, which audience? Clients, dormant, new blood. Now I've given you 3 strategies to go with new clients, dormant, New blood. Which of these strategies are you going to focus on? Lisa said clients. Lauren says clients. Awesome. Clients, prospects, or strangers. I've also said in the next 24 hours. It's easy to say I'm going to take action when you attend a webinar or participate in some training like this. The more you participate, the more likely you are to retain the information, the more likely you are to take action. When you take action, you get outcomes. But I will invite you to take it one step further and make a note to put something in your diary or your calendar, or indeed you could put it in your diary or calendar right now. Was that easy? Was that valuable? 3 audiences, 3 strategies. And once again, you can apply the different strategies to re-engage with existing clients or engage with dormant audiences already in the calendar, says Paul. Lisa says, knew you would pump me up, James. So I have 2 hours allocated to actioning my best takeaway. Absolutely wonderful. Rock and roll. If you're getting value and you're thinking, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, give me a yar. Pretend you're a pirate. Give me a yar. I always like a yar. They fire me up. All right. So that was all right. So that was open. Now we have engage. So if we're going to engage with audiences, sure, we've got our 3 tactics, 1, 2, 3, rock and roll. That's awesome. When it comes to engaging with audience, it's a little bit more circular. And I think I'm going to grab a slightly larger font size, maybe in a different color. It's slightly circular. So engagement, it kind of goes around and around and around and around and around until you get to the point where you're closing. It's an interesting process because you're opening, you're engaging, and then if it doesn't close, you're opening, you're engaging, and then if it doesn't close, you're opening and you're engaging, and you don't and you're hopefully closing. When it comes to this engagement piece, in your world, what do you think is likely to be the hardest part for you? What do you think is the bit that you are most likely to struggle with when it comes to engaging with audiences? So you've DM'd someone and they reply. You've sent out your 9-word email and they've got back to you. You've posted your yes post on social media. They've said, I've wanted it. They've given you permission to reach out to them via private messenger or whatever it's called in LinkedIn or whatever it's called on Instagram. What is the hardest part for you? Michelle says content. So that's the first piece. That's creating a reason for them to reach out to you. That's terrific. And she also says ongoing conversation. So keeping it moving forward. What are the hardest pieces when this is working for you? So one of the things is moving forward, ongoing conversation. So one of the biggest challenges that people tend to face is holding attention. Oh, that's a big font. I'm just going to make this smaller. All right, holding attention. Right, holding attention. Maintaining attention. That's definitely one of the strategies. That's one of the challenges. Presentation, says Wayne. Lisa says confirming a meeting or a demo. So that there is closing the loop. That's the last bit to get them across the line. What else have we got in here? Receiving ongoing communication. So Wayne says presentation. A big one that comes up a lot of the time, and I don't think anyone's ever said it, but there's that whole question is that, is this going to be a waste of my time? Right? Is this going to be a waste of my time? I'm having a conversation. The messages are going back and forth. I've got a pretty good idea that this might be the right person. We seem to be hitting it off. But is this person a tire kicker or a time waster? Do they actively fit in my Goldilocks zone? Those tend to be the hardest bit. Maintaining the conversation, holding attention. Is this person wasting my time? And then, of course, taking it to the next step, which is why we have this game called the momentum game. And the momentum game is to keep the momentum going, even when it feels like the conversation may be petering out. The other reason why I love the momentum game is that it helps build their need for you. Yes. And it also helps to pre-qualify leads so you know that you are not wasting your time. And on the screen right now, you can see 5 questions, or indeed 5 sets of questions, if you are willing and able to make these your own. So the first question that we like to ask is the context question. So if it's the yes game that you're playing, if it's a yes post, you might say, hey, name, hey, Joseph, you wanted my 24 lead generating tactics, yeah? Was that you? Lovely to connect, by the way. So that there is a question. Hey, you wanted my lead generation tactics, yeah? Was that you? What I've done is I've started the conversation and we're engaging now. And the person says, yeah, that was me. Or no, that wasn't me. What is it again? Oh, I posted this post. Here's a screen grab. You said you wanted it. Do you still want it? Oh yeah, no, I do want that. Can you see how we can move things forward here? I often like to follow it up with a pre-qualifying question. Now, if you're engaging with someone on another channel like LinkedIn, or maybe you're using an automation tool to trigger a chat on using ManyChat. I think there's a thing called Mobile Monkey that people use for Instagram. There's all sorts of other ways to trigger chats. I always follow it up with a qualification question. Are you the owner of a marketing agency? So it's about the audience. Or how long have you been an owner of a marketing agency? How long have you been doing that for? So for example, someone says, I want your 24 lead generating tactics for marketing agencies. I can say, cool. How long have you been a marketing agency owner for? Right? That's really easy. Are you the owner of a marketing agency? Yeah, I am. All right. How long have you been doing that for? Now, what I haven't done here is I haven't immediately given the gift, right? I've just started the conversation, and most people are too polite to say, hey, where's the gift you promised me? If they really desperately want it, that's what they're thinking. And then most people don't really care and they've kind of forgotten anyway. But we get there, and we get there quickly. Pre-qualify. Are you the owner? Oh, yeah, I am. Oh, terrific. If they say, no, I'm not your target audience. Oh, cool. All right, great. Well, here's the thing that I promised. Question 3, feed their guessing machine. The guessing machine is their brain. Yeah, their brain. So I often pose a cryptic question. So, hey, Joseph, you wanted my 24 lead generating tactics, yeah? Was that you? Yeah, that was me. Cool. Are you the owner of a marketing agency? I was checking out your profile. It says you're a marketing agency owner. How long have you been doing that for? Cool. Hey, cryptic question. What comes first, leads or sales? What comes first, leads or sales? And most people go, ooh, this is okay. All right, this is interesting. I didn't expect this. Where's this going? Leads? Tap, tap, tap. Or if someone answered a question on your yes post, or they went into a bit more detail, I got to know, why did you say blah, 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 blah? It's another way to open the conversation. Question 4, build the need. So I might write cryptic question, leads or sales? And they go, leads? Then I write the $1 million question. How do you feel about the total number of leads you're getting every week at the moment? Or more importantly, the number of sales ops per week? Too many? Too little? Just right. That will usually be 2 questions. I like to break my questions into 2 questions, like the SMSs. Now we're really, we're really getting to the pointy end of the conversation here. Cool. Yeah, I'd like to get more leads. It's very rare that someone says it just right. They might say too many. And they say, all right, what challenges is that presenting for you? Are they good quality, the right quality leads? Right? The conversation continues. It goes in a circle. Just right. Close the loop. Awesome. Finally, before I give you my free report, my video, I need to know something. Will you actually read it? Will you actually watch it? Emoji that goes, something like that. All right. I might frame that. A lot of people I give it to don't watch it. They don't read it. I want to make sure you're going to watch it or read it. Make our time here worthwhile. And they go, yeah, I'll watch it. I'll read it. And then I give them the thing. For the 3rd time and potentially the last time, I want you to take a photo of this particular screen. This is a set of questions. This is a resource that we have available to our private clients and students. And if our private clients and students want this and they need this, they can get hold of this. If you're not a private client, if you're not a student of ours, you won't get this anywhere else. And I believe that these questions are one of the most helpful elements of the training today. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to pull out your phone and take a photo of this right now. Of course, if you want to continue working with us, if you'd like some help from us, we're going to give you an opportunity to do that in just a moment. But however, hedge your bets. Take a photo right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Radical transparency, and I want you to be honest with me. The back and forth. Does that sound hard? Does that sound tedious? Does that sound time consuming? Write yes if it sounded hard or tedious or time consuming, or don't do anything at all. Just go, Radical transparency, be honest with me. The back and forth. Does that sound hard? Does that sound tedious? Does that sound time consuming? For a lot of people it is, and for a lot of people it's a little bit frightening, which is why we have our fear busters. But mostly and most importantly, I want you to know that what I have just shared with you is a stepping stone. It is a stepping stone in the evolution of your business. It's a winning strategy as you grow your business. But my goal for you is to get you to a point where you don't need to engage in that type of stuff. Sure, it's rewarding when it's done right. So for example, if you're building a business and you're early stage and you're getting the message out there, or maybe it's a lean month and you're just light on sales, or maybe you're cash strapped. Yes, it's an extremely rewarding strategy. And I've got an example here where John Weichard applied a strategy similar to the strategies that I've been sharing today. And he said, I got 73 leads via LinkedIn, 12 meetings booked, 2 sales of my core product, and I have 2 more decisions pending. I did that in 2 weeks. It's a great strategy. It's a rewarding strategy. But once again, I want you over time to be playing a bigger game. I want you to be playing, thinking about the bigger picture and creating an environment where the opportunities are coming to you. If I bring it right back to the beginning and I use the expression inbound VIP, where they are coming to you. And as we move into the home straight, I'm going to be giving you strategies to help you achieve that right now. So here's what I want you to do. I just want you to acknowledge something, and I want you to type the words stepping stone. That's what I want you to observe. Stepping stone. It's a powerful strategy. It's a financially rewarding strategy, but is a stepping stone to a bigger picture. Stepping stone, stepping stone, stepping stone. Wonderful. It's a journey, and it's a journey that I want to bring you on. Let's do this together. I'm going to come back to John in a little bit, but for now, I've got another brain buster for you. At what point should you propose they book a meeting? Now, I've given you some engagement questions. At what point should you propose that they book a meeting? I asked you a little bit earlier, what are some of the hardest pieces? And I wrote down on my screen, maintaining the conversation. I wrote, am I wasting my time? We can solve that problem pretty early. And then I also wrote closing. At what point should we redirect the conversation to booking a meeting? At what point should we propose they book a meeting? Doug says, as soon as they are qualified. What is the trigger? Is there a trigger? When should you pop the question? Kelly said, I would say as soon as you identify that your solution meets their need. Terrific answer. So Doug has said, as soon as they are qualified. Yes, if we bring it back to where we began, the who is more important than the what. We've got Kelly saying, as soon as we identify that the solution meets their need. Yes, we want a strong need and a clear impact, maybe a measurable ROI. Daniel says, when they are ready to engage in a sale. At what point should you propose they book a meeting? Well, hopefully, if you play your cards right, you personally should never need to propose that they book a meeting. If you play your cards right, and if you have the ingredients in place, they will book the meeting without you personally ever actually needing to ask. close. How to close without closing. So to recap, 3 strategies. Circular. Let's close the loop. There are different ways to close the loop. One of those things that we just talked about is booking the meeting. That is one way to close the loop. And if it feels right and you're engaged in a conversation and you've got your booking link handy, you've got your B2B-.io booking link handy, you can give them that link and you can say, let's have a time. That's one way. Another way is to give them the gift that we just talked about. Rather than say, book a time with me, we can say, here is the thing that I promised you, and we can give them a link. When they click that link, there's probably a page where they have to opt in to get the thing. And then maybe that takes them on a journey where they can book the meeting on their own. What have I got in the middle here? A diagnostic or a quiz. Now, a diagnostic or a quiz, that says diagnostic, is something that you can use to pre-qualify, elevate anticipation before the meeting, capture important data, but you can also use that as a lead generation tool, as another way to close the loop. So here we have gift, diagnostic, and meeting booking tool, which brings me back to here. Our client attraction sequence. If I'm going to break this down, people come into your world in a bunch of different ways. Sometimes they are inbound and they just respond to one of your emails, or maybe they engage with one of your social media posts. So they reach out to you on social media, or maybe there's a referral, or maybe you engage in intelligent outbound. An intelligent outbound might mean that you have an opt-in gift on your website, or you have an email newsletter, or maybe you forge strategic marketing alliances, or you invest in ads. Maybe you're into your SEO, or maybe you're using social media in a whole bunch of different ways. There are a whole bunch of different ways that people can come into your world. And what I can tell you is that it is really, really, really helpful if you have some sort of opt-in gift and a way for them to come into your own world where they opt in. Now, the best type of opt-in is obviously going to be a gift that tackles the headaches, the obstacles, the aspirations, and desires of your target audience. So if you're engaged with someone on social media, you can say, hey, here's my opt-in gift. You're not asking them to book a meeting. You're not asking them to commit in a deep and meaningful way. You're giving them an opportunity to enter your world. If they opt into your gift, where might you want to redirect them? Well, you could immediately redirect them to your ultimate online transaction, your booking offer, or you can introduce some sort of diagnostic. A diagnostic is a survey or a quiz that gives rather than takes. It is an amazing pre-qualification tool. It does all sorts of wonderful things as well too. Now, if someone comes into my world, say it's a referral, and they say, hey, listen, James, someone was talking with me and they talked about you and I really need to hire you, I will usually direct that person to my diagnostic because I don't want to waste my time having a conversation with someone who's not the right fit. So it's an amazing pre-qualification tool. And again, another off-ramp. It's another way to get people into your database, into your CRM, into your funnel. And then third, we have the ultimate online transaction. We have talked about the inbound VIP, but I'm going to introduce another acronym to you, and that's an AWP. An AWP is an appointment with purpose. That's not, hey, let's connect and explore ways that I can help you out. Hey, let's book a time. I've got a link to my discovery session so I can extract as much information from you and sell you as much stuff as I can possibly. No one wants to book your discovery session. They don't want some vague invitation to connect or catch up. They don't want that. An appointment with purpose is your opportunity to say, hey, let me give you something of value that we might normally sometimes even charge for by simply booking some time with me. So in our world, you may have noticed we have a B2B funnel mapping session, and that there is our appointment with purpose. So I said When is the best time, or when is the best point for you to propose the meeting? When is a good trigger? You will notice there are times in your world when there might be a good trigger to say, hey, book a call with me. But I know it's much better to say, hey, we offer something or other planning session, or a mini something audit, right? Or a blah, blah, blah assessment, right? Let's do that. Book a time. Here's my link. You can do it right now. But as I said, what's the best scenario if I want to elevate your thinking? If I want to take you on a journey, if we observe that what we are talking about is a stepping stone, that's when somebody comes into your world through a multitude of channels, a bunch of different channels, and they are taken on a journey from the opt-in gift to the diagnostic to your ultimate online transaction. And of course, it helps if we have some emails in a sequence too, to control that journey, to manage that journey, and to propose the meeting on your behalf so that you don't personally need to. It's often said that to build trust in B2B sales, there needs to be at least 7 points of interaction. Let's look at this right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bam. So use the chat tool. I just talked about 3 stages or 3 ingredients. Could you indeed tackle one of those 3 ingredients in the next 24 hours? Could you? Do you wanna? Gift, diagnostic, or AWP? Type something below. Gift, diagnostic, or AWP, because I'm just gonna put this out there. What I have just described to you, I believe, are the 3 absolutely essential, non-negotiable ingredients of any high-performing B2B funnel. If you want a high-performing B2B funnel, I have just mapped it out for you. I even asked you to take a photo of it a little bit later. And of course, if you're interested, I'm about to give you the opportunity to build something like that with me and my team, and we can do something like that together. So what's the moral of this story? Don't try to marry a stranger on the first date unless they are desperately asking you to marry you first, which is the inbound VIP, the inbound very interested prospect. Why would you ask a stranger to marry you on the first date? It doesn't work in the real world, so why should it indeed work online? This is John Weikart. He created his appointment with purpose. Book a power-up strategy call. In 45 minutes, we will work through a proven 5-part formula to identify the top opportunities for accelerating the progress of your new technology, product, or service. This is an appointment with purpose. And he has a booking page. So there is a transaction that can be measured. How did that work out for John? Well, John says, so I delivered messages to 50 people on LinkedIn. This was the first message we got from John in 9 hours. It was 9 hours ago. Since then, 7 people have contacted me through LinkedIn. 6 people have downloaded my book, and 1 person booked a meeting with me. Can you see that John applied the sequence? He didn't come across as pushy. He didn't come across as salesy. He came across as helpful. 24 hours later, she ordered. No, it was 24. It's more like 48 hours later. She ordered. Yeah, baby. Thanks. Couldn't have done it without you. She came from LinkedIn. It's been a rapid journey. What, 6 weeks? Was my question. 48 hours later, 72 hours later, I don't know how much later. New client, $1,900 report. Woohoo, thanks. That's how much a client pays John in the first month. And then I think that the lifetime value is more around $12,000 to $20,000. So as I said, for John, he got 72 leads via LinkedIn, 12 meetings booked, 2 sales of his core product, and he has 2 more decisions pending. And he says he did that in 2 weeks. He didn't do it in 2 weeks. It took more like 6 weeks, because for the first 4 weeks, he had to build the infrastructure. Then it works largely on autopilot. What was the technology stack that we used? Would you like to see the technology stack that we used? Would you like to see that? I'm going to show you right now. Give me a yeah or a yah or a hell's yeah if you'd like to see the technology stack that let's have a look here. I'm actually going to, I might even, you know what, I might even post this in the chat. Let's have a look here. Here we go. I'm going to show you a sequence, and I'm going to show you the exact tech stack. I just got to work out what I'm supposed to be showing you right now. Here we go. Need to share a different screen. So this is cool. This is the tech stack that we used, beginning with an opt-in page. So this is a mini case study you can see on the screen right now. So what's this one here? This one here is, let's have a look. Would you like this B2B fully booked roadmap to get you started? How to book more conversations with very interested prospects. Does that sound appealing? Does that sound like something that you might want? Yeah, sure. I've started with a no-brainer question here. What best describes your situation? Most sales just happen online without a conversation. Most new client relationships start with a conversation. I hadn't even finished reading the questions, but because I ticked that box, it started. Now, we've analyzed all sorts of different landing pages, and we've discovered that the most effective landing pages have one call to action, unlike your homepage, which is covered with distractions, one call to action, and a no-brainer question that opens the conversation. The same way that we had our engagement questions, no-brainers. I answered that particular question, and it just started. Success, prepare yourself for a surprise in 3, 2, 1. Great. You've unlocked a secret one-time invitation to get a B2B funnel mapping session with John. Now, I've skipped the diagnostic stage, but we love online forms that combine opt-in with the principles of a diagnostic. So that example that you just saw had a no-brainer question, and it can be built out and fleshed out into a diagnostic, something that we call a hybrid. So we went from opt-in to a booking invitation, which is also a diagnostic. What type of business do you have? B2B, more than 1,600. Johnny here is pre-qualifying, kinda. Put in my phone number. Let's do this. I've not yet done this. What time zone? Great, almost done. Time, Paul, would you prefer the full 45-minute strategy call or a 15-minute power chat? You know what, I think I want the full 45 minutes. The form submitted successfully. Shazam. All right, now I can book some time with Johnny. I'm going to book 5:15 tomorrow. Or was that 3:15 tomorrow afternoon? And I've done it. What tool did I use? I used one tool for that entire process. And that one tool that I used for the entire process is a tool called B2B Dash. Pretty simple here. Not so hard. Kind of cool. I hope you enjoyed that process. And can you see how intuitive it might feel for somebody coming into your world? As I said a moment ago, what I have just described are what I believe are the non-negotiable, absolutely non-negotiable, absolutely essential ingredients for a high-performing B2B funnel. Awesome. All right. So that there indeed is the bigger picture. We want to open our conversations. We want to engage with audiences, and we want to close the loop. Here's what I want to know from you. I want to know, which piece do you think was the most valuable for you in your world? Which piece? The open piece, the engage piece, or the attraction piece? Indeed, I could frame this in a slightly different way. Which piece do you think is indeed the most important? What do you think is the most important? I said that in two ways. I said, which piece is the most valuable for you? And I see Lauren has said engage, and David has said open. Michelle said open. Now I'm going to reframe the question. I'm going to ask you again. Which piece do you think is the most important? Which of those pieces do you think is the most important? Particularly if you want to play a bigger game, if you want to normalize success, if you acknowledge that what we are talking about is a stepping stone to new things. The most important piece is the third piece. It's the third piece. It's the infrastructure. It's the underpinning stuff. Because if you don't have that underpinning stuff, everything that you do relies on your talent, your chutzpah, your flair, your desire and willingness to stay constantly motivated, which is really, really, really hard. The third piece is indeed the most important piece in my not so humble opinion. And you know why? Because those pieces, that piece will force you to get target audience clarity. The moment that you want to pull together a gift is the moment that you say, who is my target audience and what are their headaches, their obstacles, their aspirations and desires? If you can name your audience, you can find your audience. If you can find your audience, you can figure out their headaches. If you can name your audience and figure out their headaches, you can come up with compelling copy. If you can name your audience and figure out their headaches and come up with compelling copy, you become a magnet for opportunities. It also forces you to get absolute funnel focus. So when you begin to think about that, you start to think about the ingredients that are going to make my life so much easier rather than being addicted to the hustle or the chase, okay? Which is one of those normalized ways of thinking. I need to hustle, I need to chase to get an outcome. But does the hustle or the chase, does that lead you to a bigger game, long-term success? It's a great strategy for the here and now, probably not over the long term. So absolute funnel focus. That helps you focus on what content is going to work. And then 3, target audience clarity, absolute funnel focus, industry authority, magnetism. Would you like to be an authority in your industry? Would you be like to be the natural go-to person within your space? Would you like to be the logical choice? Most people are not the logical choice. They're the obscure choice. They're the obscure choice that has to do the chasing. Me, I would like to help you play a bigger game and take you from the obscure to the obvious choice to a position where you become the prize. I also said at the very end, when I got to the end, I would share what tools we use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the tools that we use to manage selling by chat. And what I do want to say, as I run through the selling by chat, as I run through the tools for selling by chat, is that a lot of these tools you don't need. But however, I know that when I talk about this topic, everybody just wants to know what tools I want to use, what tools they use. I believe that most tools are a means to an end. And if you don't have the underpinning strategies in place, you're just going to burn through money and get no result, which is why we have our client attraction sequence, because it's the building blocks for the sequence that deliver the greatest impact. And then the technology supports you to help you save time. All right, here are the tools. What do we got here? CRM and pipeline builder. We use B2B-io. Check it out. Facebook automation. We use Pepper for Facebook groups. We also use ManyChat for automated DM messaging. And I've just noticed it's not on the screen. Check it out. Take a photo of the slide if you want to check all this stuff out. LinkedIn. For a long time, we've been recommending Lead Central HQ. Lately, it's been a little bit glitchy and a little bit problematic. So we've been checking out Copilot AI. Unfortunately, the price difference between Lead Central HQ and Copilot AI is quite substantial. But however, you get what you pay for. Instagram, there's a tool called Mobile Monkey, where if someone leaves a comment in chat, you can automatically respond to it. SMS, once again, you could just be using this. But we find Burst SMS to be a pretty good tool, particularly if you want to send larger volume messages from your own mobile phone. You can also craft messages on your laptop and then send it to an audience. And another tool that we use is Twilio. And Twilio is a good tool if you're using a CRM system or a pipeline builder. And when someone gets a tag, you can use that tag to ping a message to that person using an integration tool called Zapier. For email, we use Gmail and Outlook, whatever works for you, plus B2B-io once again. The 9-word email example that I showed you on the screen right now was sent from within my B2B account as a one-to-one email, but I can send batches as one-to-one emails, giving me the highest possible deliverability rate. And I'm sending emails direct from my CRM, my B2B-io account, which is really terrific if I want to do it as a sequence, or if I want to do it as a one-to-one. Deliverability goes way, way up. In terms of hardware, a phone and desktop. That's all we need. We don't need to overcomplicate these things, but most importantly, these are what I believe are going to make the difference, the biggest difference. Do you have some type of opt-in gift? Do you have some diagnostic to pre-qualify? Do you have an appointment with purpose that you can use? If you have those three things, or even one of those three things, everything that happens before, everything that happens above becomes so much easier. Even in the context of selling by chat, particularly with the examples that I gave you today. Cool. So I guess that's it. That's it. What are your next steps? Let's finish this up. What can you tackle in the next 24 hours? I would really value if you could just simply tell me what you thought was the most valuable thing that came out of today. What is the most valuable piece that came out of today? Let me know. Type something out. Use the chat tool. If there's something that you're going to execute in the next 24 hours, let us know. Of course, if you've got questions about the recipe, pose the question. Do that as well too. What is the most valuable piece? What could you execute in the next 24 hours? What was one message or something that stood out? Or indeed, here's another way of thinking about it. What is something that you could teach other people in the next 24 hours? What could you even post on social media? I learned this week. I thought it was useful. What could you share with your audiences? I don't mind. I mean, like, credit me if you like. But what I do know is that in addition to participating, in addition to games, in addition to formulas, in addition to templates, teaching is a wonderful way to retain information and get outcomes. So Lauren said, focusing on existing clients and dormant. Great stuff. Doug said the gift suggestion from John. And Doug is keen to participate in the recipe. Rock and roll. Paul said he's going to focus on the dormant. Lisa said post in the next 24 hours and the engagement strategy, and raving about this session with my customers, which are recruitment agencies. Thanks, Lisa. Maybe we can help you out with that. Wayne, do you still need help with? Wayne says, do you still need help with? That's the 9-word email. Very, 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 very powerful. Wonderful. This has been terrific. I don't know about you guys and gals, but I've been feeling it. I've been feeling it. I love to support you. I love to see you absorb the information. I love to see you commit to taking actions. This has been awesome. I'm feeling it. I hope you're feeling it too. So it's time to wind up. We've hit the 2-hour mark. I think we might have less than a minute yet. Michelle says, focus on dormant, and thank you for all the insights. IoT has been great and is definitely the next step for me. Thanks, James. Amazing. Awesome. So I want to say thank you to you guys and gals. I want to say thank you for participating. I want to say thank you for my crew for helping out behind the scenes. And I want to say thank you to our existing customers and clients that participate in these open days that we run once a month, and they get to watch or endure me introduce some new people to our training program. I know there's some people that have been part of our world for a really long time, and they've watched me talk about the recipe or one of our another training program, the Pointian, or selling at scale, and you stick around and you watch it, even though you've seen it a million times before. So I appreciate you guys and gals very much so as well too. All right. Shoba says, thanks, James. I am in. Terrific. And she says, looking forward to your input and guidance. We would be thrilled to help you. Absolutely. Lisa, thank you, James, and everyone. Huge value. Much love. Freddie says, cheers, Simon. And the weirdest, strangest emoji that I've ever seen, but I like it. Yvonne says, excellent and informative. Rock and roll. Marcus is in. He's a trailblazer. Winning. That's terrific as well too. Okay, awesome. You warm the cockles of my heart. You make my heart sing. Once again, thanks to our students. Thanks to the people who are signing up right now. Thanks to the people who participated today. Mwah! Mwah! Who have I not thanked? Thank you for my crew for supporting me. I think that I thanked everyone. Wayne, thank you, James, for the presentation. All right. All right. Okay. Wayne is looking for a I don't know. I don't know what he's looking for. Anyway, whatever you're looking for, I hope that we can help you with it. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great evening if you're watching sometime somewhere else in the world where it's nighttime, or indeed if you're watching a recording and it's evening or night. Till next time, it's bye from me. It's bye from my crew. And it's bye for now. What button do I press? Bye. Wrong button.